I don't know whether you've come across a brilliant play called Something Rotten, and there's a song quite towards the beginning of the show where Nick Bottom, I think, or Nigel Bottom, says who's a failed playwright, explains why he hates Shakespeare. Gotta hate Shakespeare, and the way he feigns humility when all he does is gloat, and the way he wears that silly frilly collar round his throat. Uh, it's a brilliant little song, and it sums up uh, how how remarkable, really, how remarkable Shakespeare actually is, and how spectacular Shakespeare is as a playwright, as a as a phenomenon, and how he's lasted so long. And yesterday, last night, Sigourney Weaver was continuing her performance of The Tempest at the Drury Lane, restoring to Drury Lane the tradition which it had years and years ago in the 19th century of performing Shakespeare, and demonstrating how his works transcend time, how the unparalleled genius. Yet I suppose he might have been surprised to find his Tempest co-opted into a 21st century climate crisis debate. And because last night, this iconic play, which I remember a few years ago, I was teaching it for A level, and I thought this is a really difficult play to teach because it's all about poetry, and the drama is in the language, not particularly in the story. The story is quite trite, and this iconic play was disrupted by Just Stop Oil protesters. And while Sigourney Weaver was mid scene as Prospero, doing to The Tempest what Glenda Jackson had done to King Lear, and their confetti cannon and the message with over 1.5 degrees is a global shipwreck draws a provocative parallel between Shakespeare's Storm and the environmental tempest of our time. But does the tempest truly resonate with their cause? That, I suppose, should be the big question. And at first glance, the tempest appears to echo modern ecological concerns. Prospero's manipulation of nature through his magic can be interpreted as humanity's dominion over the natural world, a theme that aligns with environmental movements criticizing our exploitation of the earth. You can take Caliban's line, "The isle is full of noises, sounds and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not." And here Caliban, often seen as a symbol of the natural world, highlights the intrinsic beauty of nature untouched by human interference, and his lament about colonization, "You taught me language, and my profit on't is I know how to curse," should be read as a criticism of industrial exploitation, and the activist's invocation of the tempest aligns with that narrative, a warning against ignoring nature's inherent value, and even Prospero's famous renunciation of his magical his magical power. "I'll break my staff, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my books." It might symbolize humanity stepping back from the destructive tendency of uh, gathering oil, choosing restoration over dominion. Yet Shakespeare's vision is not a straightforward endorsement of environmental activism. Prospero's relationship with the natural world is instrumental, not reverent. His control over the elements, ye elves of hills, brooks, standing lakes, and groves, is wielded for personal vengeance and political gain, not the preservation of the island's harmony. This instrumentalization contrasts with the Just Stop Oil ethos of partnership with nature. Moreover, the treatment of Caliban complicates matters. Prospero calls him a devil, a born devil, on whose nature nurture can never stick. It reflects an anthropocentric worldview, one that subjugates the other, represented by Caliban, to human authority. Just Stop Oil's message, in theory, champions inclusivity and respect for all life. Those are ideas which clash with the Tempest's portrayal of hierarchy. The Tempest is about power, it's about control. not about nature. Who is controlling? And what the Tempest offers is less a prescriptive or a prescriptive ecological manifesto, more a meditation on human folly, power, and redemption. Prospero's declaration, the rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance, reminds us that personal and social transformations are essential. And this sentiment, though noble, shifts focus from the issues about fossil fuel dependency to individual moral choice, a point of divergence with Just Stop Oil's demand for structural change. And returning to last night's protest, the audience's mixed reaction, boos and a few cheers, reflects the broader debate on civil disobedience. Shakespeare's plays, filled with moments of disruption, remind us that upheaval often precedes resolution. But the protesters' interruption raises questions about the efficacy of their methods. Does stopping a performance lead to meaningful change, or does it risk alienating potential allies? Shakespeare in The Tempest offers a rich, if ambivalent, lens through which to view Just Stop Oil and their protests. Its themes of power, exploitation, reconciliation resonate with contemporary ecological concerns, but it also raises the complexities of human dominance over nature. The activists' banner, over 1.5 degrees is a global shipwreck, is a striking metaphor, yet the shipwreck in The Tempest leads not to destruction, but to renewal. And perhaps that's the ultimate lesson. Even in the middle of chaos, there is hope for redemption. There's a hope that we can return to noise, or at least in the process of transformation there will be noise. The isle is full of noises, sounds and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. And it's I think in The Tempest, one of the themes which comes across and which is rarely looked at in theatre is the theme between nature and nurture, and how education and training can change something or not. And that scene where Prospero's daughter meets Ferdinand, and she talks about her brave new world. I remember seeing a wonderful treatment of this, where she was given a local accent and he was being all snooty, and suddenly it makes sense. It's not what you do, but how you say it. And I'm not convinced that the way Just Stop Oil is putting its message across is the best way to get its ideas across, to get to hit home, to have a real effect. Disruption simply breeds frustration. And to truly communicate, Just Stop Oil have to engage with their audience rather than frustrate and irritate their audience. Yes, they've captured some headlines today. I don't know whether it's enough. They captured headlines, I suspect, less because they were interrupting a Shakespeare play, and more because they were interrupting a play featuring the lady who made Alien, a franchise.